What's up, YouTube? Siegfried Trulane here, and today this is going to be kind of a rant video, and I've got a lot of problems with Raiden, and I'm going to go over all of those problems, which honestly I've not heard yet mentioned to this point. So I think these are some new problems that have not been mentioned. Anyways, I will see you guys in just a minute. Alright guys, so we're back, and today we're going to be talking about the problems with Raiden Shogun and the buffs that I personally think she needs to have. Now there are three major problems, but the first problem we're going to talk about is actually not with Raiden, but with Xiao. Now, I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. Xiao's major problem is his ultimate. Nothing buffs his ultimate, and to be perfectly honest, Xiao's build breaks up his team comps pretty badly. First of all, you need a shielder and healer for Xiao, so you either need to be running Diona or a character that shields and Jean for heals or Chi-Chi for heals. Or if you're lucky, have a C6 Zhongli and you're good to go. Zhongli himself, even without C6, is still going to be good enough to upkeep Xiao. The biggest issue is Xiao won't be healed, so one mistake without a C6 Zhongli and Xiao is dead. So Xiao already requires a shielder to play due to how messed up his ultimate is. And then due to the way his ultimate is, things like the Noblesse don't buff him. Now, to be honest, that wasn't such a big problem until we just got Raiden. Raiden's E has no effect on Xiao. This is a major problem, and this is going to be a major issue with Xiao, as we're going to see characters that buff ultimates, and as we see more characters that buff ultimates, Xiao is going to become less and less useful. This means that Xiao, who is extremely powerful, is actually going to be power crept quite quickly. We've already seen him power crept by Ganyu out the gate. Pretty much Ganyu just outdid him right in the beginning. Eula's doing better than Xiao. So many characters are just pushing Xiao out because Xiao was built in a way that, in all honesty, my suggestion to anyone who wants to summon for Xiao, don't. Xiao is going to be garbage way too soon. So there's the first issue here. The second issue comes more directly with Raiden and with her ultimate. The way Raiden's ultimate works, including her Wishes Unnumbered passive, you need a total of 240 energy from ultimates to be cast in order to fully get her maximum damage on her ultimate. Now, this is a problem because, again, she's only going to give a lot of energy when she casts her ultimate. And as you're probably using her ultimate first, you have to build up all that energy by itself. The other issue is that we don't have a lot of batteries with 80 ultimate cost of an ultimate. Venti is 40. Kazuha is 60. Sucrose might be 80. Sucrose is 80. So that means that you have to run Raiden with Sucrose for the level 80 battery. You then have to run it with a level 80 support, which Bennett is not level 80, does not have an 80 cost. It's only 60, which gives us more down to Jingling, which, to be honest, I don't really enjoy playing Jingling that much. I don't find her that fun. I think her E is absolutely stupid, and she's not as enjoyable. I wanted her when she was a pole armor because I like pole armors, but to be honest, she's not that great now that I have better pole armor users. And then you need to run her with a level 80 DPS. Now, honestly, I mean, you have Razor, but the problem with Razor is that her ultimate, her E is not going to buff Razor's main damage, which is the bottom part. Okay? Now, I do have Razor at Constellation 6 because, I pulled a lot of them. But the thing is that her full ultimate is not going to affect it. This is another problem, meaning that he is not fully compatible with Raiden. Neither is Beidou, as Beidou's ultimate does not affect Raiden, because Beidou's ultimate would affect, for example, Xiao. This is a case, to be perfectly honest, that also messes up with Raiden, and is going to be a problem with Raiden in the future. Okay? Because when you pop her ultimate, and she increases normal charge attacks... What is this? Is it her ultimate or E that does it? Anyways, where's Lightning Storm? Okay, Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm will not really affect Raiden because of the way she is written. So we're also seeing an issue with Raiden where I think we're going to see problems with Raiden because buffing her normal attack is not going to affect her that much, as she's a burst DPS. So there's problem number one. Her team comp requires literally 380s, and there's not really many good 380s. You have Diona for shields, Sucrose for energy recharge, and then you can run Jingling for a DPS, sub-DPS support, or run her better DPS, which would be Eula, which not everybody has. Nor is everybody going to want to play. So, problem number one is that you need to literally get Constellation 1 to make her usable. Constellation 1 reduces her total cost from 240 to 192, which when divided by 3 is about 64, 64, 64, which in short means that you could run a 60, an 80, and a 40 and you're fine. Zhongli for shields, Kazuha for the battery, and then an 80 DPS, and you would be fine. You would be able to hit her max damage. This is a major problem because this literally means that unlike other characters where you buff their ultimate, they have nerfed Raiden's ultimate to where you have to actually pull her first Constellation to be able to get max damage on ultimate in about a 30-second window. If not, you're going to be waiting quite a bit longer. You're going to have to wait around 36 to 40 seconds, which to be honest does add up. Now, we've covered the problem with Xiao. We've covered Raiden's first problem. This second problem is honestly way worse and way more infuriating. Her ultimate problem you can handle by switching things around. For example, I run Kazuha, Rosaria for her crit buff, and Zhongli for his shield. And usually I try to aim for 2 Rosaria ultimates, a Zhongli, and 1 Kazuha. This usually gives me a total of 2... Oops, I made a mistake. This usually gives me a total of 220. Not quite the 240, but 220. Which is getting about 0.44. That usually is my plan. Now, it does delay things a bit, as I do have to try to get Rosaria's up. And I have to make sure that after each attack I use, I'm back on Rosaria so she can get her energy. And I do need to use 2 of Rosaria's E's alongside 2 of Kazuha's E's. This is doable, but... So this is not a big enough problem. The biggest problem comes with her weapon. Now, in my opinion, if you pull for this weapon, a Refinement 1 Engulfing Lightning should be better than any 4-star Refinement 5 weapon, and should be better than any other 5-star weapon for her. But there's a major problem with this weapon, and we're going to look at that now. When you look at her passive on her weapon, it says that at Refinement level 1, you get a bonus 30% energy recharge when you cast her ultimate, and then 0.28% of that increases. You increase your attack by 0.28% of her energy recharge above 100 to a maximum of 80. Now, for me, I think you should be able to reasonably hit that 80, but at Refinement 0, it's not possible. The amount of energy recharge you would have to hit 80 is around 356. You would minus the 100 because it has to be over 100. Add 30 for the boost. You get 286. Multiply that by the 0.28. There's your 80%. You need 356 energy recharge. Now, to put that into how much energy recharge you would actually need, you have 256 as you have that base 100. You get to minus 125 because of the weapons and the artifact bonus. Yeah, 130. You divide this by 5. You still need 26.2 energy recharge on each piece, meaning that you would not only have to roll energy recharge, you would have to roll all the way up, meaning your crit and crit damage is going to be crap. The only way to get max damage on this weapon is to literally lose damage. This is a major problem. At the next level, it gets a little better, but not much. Instead, you need about 315. That's going to put you, 325. You need about 325 versus the 350. You would get the 35 minus the 100 times 0.35. There you go. Refinement level 1 is still unreasonable. Refinement level 3 is where it becomes more reasonable. At 300 ER, which is possible, you get a bonus of 400. You would minus the 100, multiply that by 0.42, and you're getting the 100. This one is the very first one that is reasonable to hit without losing stacks. For example, right now, my Raiden Mei, if you look at her stats, has a total of 45% crit rate, 137% crit damage. I actually get that crit rate to 80 to 60 via food. I have a lot of food for it, and I always have food. And I can get that 300 energy recharge. That's reasonable. But right now with these stats, if at my refinement level 0, I'm only getting 64% of that weapon buff. This is the problem. In short, you have to have refinement level 2 or higher for her weapon to fully get her weapon buff. So these are the 3 major problems with Raiden. 1, more Xiao, so not really 3. The 2 major problems with Raiden. And the major problem is Xiao. Her ultimate really messes up team builds and team comps, and is going to require you to actually double ultimate before you can single her ultimate, which again is going to create a problem when you go back to that character you have to double ultimate with. And then her weapon is the worst. Now, I've already done the math on what the buffs I personally think need to be. Personally, let's talk about her ultimate first. All they have to do to fix Raiden Mei's ultimate is slightly change it a bit, and I will show you what I mean. If you look at her ultimate level here, you'll see that sometimes, for example, 0.15, 0.16, we have a double 0.16 here. 0.17, 0.17, another double 0.17, a double 0.18, and a double 0.19. If they raise this by 1 point every time, you'd be 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 2.4 energy at level 10. Why is this important? Well, with her passive and the 2.4 energy, you would need a lot less. So, for example, you have 60 minus the 12 from the 18 seconds versus, worth of ER absorbing. You have 48 energy. 48 points you need. Okay? Multiply this by 0.24. Crap, I keep doing that. Divided by 0.24. You need a total of 200 points. Okay? This is somewhat doable. Divide that by 3, and you need about 66.7. This is 40 points less from the 240. 240 requires you to have full 80. The 66 means you could literally run a 60, a 40, and an 80. And you'd easily get the 55. Meaning another 6 seconds to get max. That's honestly not a problem. That's not a big deal. If you ran a 60, and a 40. You got 50. But this means, you know, it's honestly not that bad. You can run again. You say, you give it a, like, you go for a full 30-second rotation. That would give you an extra 12 seconds, which is an extra, that's 4 times, which is an extra 8. That means it would only take you 30 seconds to get about 58.4. Literally, that's it. Now, personally, 2.5 I think is more idea. 2.5 would make it a lot easier. As you get that 40, plus the 12, and you'd only need the 8. But if they made it just 2.4, it would work no problem. I don't know why they didn't do it. Like, if you look at their ultimate down here, the ultimate did it. This should be equal to the ultimate, in my opinion. I mean, heck, if they started at 0.6 like the ultimate did, you'd be perfect. So that's the first thing they need to do to fix Raiden. They need to fix that ability. But now we need to talk about the weapon, because the weapon is the biggest. How do you fix this weapon? And to be perfectly honest, the easiest way to fix this weapon is just to increase the percentages, the base percentage of 35, and increase each percentage by 4% after that. If you have 35%, you literally have that 330 minus 100 times 0.35, you got the 80 at 300. Boom, 80, no problem. Then again, you have the 335 now minus 100 times 0.39, there's your 90. You're able to get both the 90 and the 80 at ER 300 after an ultimate. Then you get to the bigger one, you know, where you have the 100. And pretty much, let's see, 220 times 0.42. Sorry, 230 times 0.42. Oh, wait. Sorry, this would be higher. 43 times 0.43. So 235 would put you at 0.43. And again, you take that 235 and you minus 40. You only need 295 ER at refinement level 3. Again, very doable. Then you have the next one. Again, you want to get that 110. So 230 times 0.49. There's your 110. No problem. And again, 230 minus 45 means you only need to have a total of 285. This weapon is more than doable that you could literally have it at refinement 5. You still would not honestly need that much. You would only need 300. Really? A little more than 300. Let's see. What's it? 210 maybe? Either way, you get the point. If they started the base percent at 35 and raised it by 4% each time, or just 5%, so it's 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, it would still be fine. I mean, at 55%, you know, 220 times 0.55 is going to give you that 120. And that's literally only going to require you to have 270 ER. Again, 270 ER, in my opinion, is the best ER to have, as that's going to be perfectly get you 300 for the artifact set. So they fix you fix Raiden by starting at 0.6 and keeping this with her energy recharge down here. Make that the same number. You fix her weapon by starting at 35 and going up by 5% each time, and your weapon is fixed. And it literally has no effect on her refinement level 5. Her refinement level 5 is still fine. In fact, the problem with her refinement level 5 now is that it literally requires less ER to activate. Because if you think about it, you need about 265. What is it? Let's say 220 times 0.56. Nope. 218 times 0.56. Nope. 215 times 0.56. God damn it. Yeah. So you need a total of 315 ER after burst. After burst, which means you only need 265 ER. And ideally, 270 is about where you want to be. So, honestly, 100%, these are easy fixes. I hope that MiHoYo fixes this, because right now, this weapon requires you to pull more copies, and Raiden requires you to pull more copies. With that said, guys, what are your thoughts on Raiden? Are you okay with if you pulled for this weapon, are you okay with the weapon, the C0 weapon, being impossible to reach its passive? How do you feel about that ridiculous threshold where they require you to pull it 2 more times to get the threshold? What do you think about Raiden requiring 380 ultimate characters in her team to be able to get max damage on her ultimate? What are your guys' opinions? And if you could buff the characters, how would you buff them in a way that wouldn't break the game? Again, I don't think this would break the game. I think you're simply not so much as buffing, but fixing the issues that they made in the game. Making it so the weapon can get its max attack, and making it so Raiden can get better team comps. And so that Xiao is affected by ultimate bursts. Personally, for the ultimate, all I gotta do is just say, buffs ultimate damage. Buffs ultimate damage, and then just have everything say, instead of have Xiao say, ultimate damage. Imbues his weapons with ultimate damage, creating a Nemo damage on attack. It's so easy to fix it. Hopefully they fix these things, because honestly, with the way they're going, this is going to become a major issue within another year. I personally don't think Archon should ever fall off, and Raiden, by how she looks right now, is going to fall off. Now, if you have her to C6, she's way more better support-wise. But the realistic is, not many people are going to get her at C6, and so you're probably better off using a 4-star as support at C6, or Albedo at C0 with his free weapon. Albedo at C0 with his free weapon, or the 3-star weapon, is amazingly good. But with that said, guys, again, what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.